we're going to do something a little bit different. We're going to actually, it's called vibe coding, which is using an LLM to do your coding. But this demo is really powerful. It's going to show you the power of LLM, but we're going to build something that's useful for our AI journey. So we're going to get the peppermint demo we had before. For a quick recap, it builds a virtual machine, puts on Docker Compose and an Ubuntu image, and it installs Postgres and peppermint. And it's just a demo for a working environment. So what we're going to do is we're going to get that environment, and then what we're going to try and do is build a Mongo database instead of a Postgres is a relational database. Mongo's a NoSQL database, which means we can just put in JSON logs and it will just go in. And Fast API is going to be the web interface that we're going to use to populate it. So Fast API comes with a Swagger URL, and it's going to be quite fantastic. Okay, so that's what we're going to do. If I go to Safari, we can see that going to the IP address and port 3000 gives us a login. So what I've done is I've spun up. I've just done a vagrant up on the peppermint file and just started a clean environment, and you can see it's created the Postgres. There's no cheating if I do an ls cat the vagrant file. You can see it just makes the VM, the Ubuntu, 4 gig of RAM. That's the IP address we're setting to. It's the same one we've used before. And if you look at the peppermint recap or any other recap, it's fine. And then that makes a Docker Compose. So what we'll do is we'll go vagrant s. Right. So this is the command that lets us into the vagrant file. So if we do docker stats, this will show us we've got the peppermint and the peppermint Postgres. So the Control C and go docker compose compose down. Okay. So inside the VM, we've got the one file. So if we cat it, you can see it's that file. So what we'll do is we will delete the file. Okay, that's the file deleted. So what we've got is we've got a working environment that's going to, if we give it a valid Docker Compose file, it's going to be able to spin up what we want. So all the donkey work's done. Okay, so I went to ChatGPT earlier, and I asked it to write Python code and the Docker image file to create a Fast API container that can connect to a separate MongoDB container, use a Swagger page to add JSON strings to the database and view them back. So that's going to be really handy in an AI journey. It's like we can capture any JSON, stick it in a database, call it back later. So it's really good. So what? So Fast API has come back with this structure. So we've got an app with a main Python file, the Docker file to make the Docker, requirements for the packages that go in it, and the Docker Compose to run the multiple images. So if I go copy, I use Vi, but any editor you want is perfect. That's .txt. The secret is it actually works. Because obviously I did a trial rehearsal before I did this for you. So you can see this file, it's getting the Fast API container, and it's calling the Mongo database and it's running the Mongo database. So there's no rocket science. App main.py. don't need to know Python at this stage. ChatGPT's done it. I don't think we've covered this before, but you can see MongoDB, and it's picked the right libraries it needs. So this is vibe coding. The AI is doing all the work. It's telling it how to connect to the Mongo database that we're going to build, and it's allowing us to post and get, which is what we want. Docker file. So this is building the application. It's case sensitive, in case you're trying this yourself. Run the app. Do we think it's going to work? There's going to be a couple of tweaks, but let's build the app. So it's I think it's one of the Python modules it's pulling from the internet. Internet's not the fastest, but it does the job. So yeah, this is straight from a machine that we know that can run Docker images successfully. All we're doing is using ChatGPT to build the system we want. Quick look at the diagram. So we've gone from this working environment. We've stopped the Postgres, the peppermint. We've deleted the compose.yaml file. And what we're going to do is we ask ChatGPT to design a system that will make both the files to create a MongoDB container, a fast API container, let the fast API container talk to the Mongo database or call it, and the fast API container lets it swagger URL, input or view files that are stored in the Mongo database. So that's what we're building. That looks like something's happened within the Docker database, so I'm going to do Control-C. And so what we really wanted it to do is do -D, which means it runs in the background. And we can see we've got two containers started. So if I go Docker logs MongoDB, so if we have a look at that, we can see the database has come up all right. And am I going to remember the name? It's fine. They call it Fast API. Oh, so we can see that started, and it's on port 8000. So we go back to Safari and go to, instead of port 3000, so peppermint was on, it's now going, if we go to port 8000. This is a mistake I made earlier. It's like, oh, but I asked it to go to the Swagger, which is actually on a URL called /docs. And there we go. So we've got the fast API container showing us its menu, and this is really brilliant for developing anything with the Swagger URL. So we can get and post. So let's see if we've got an empty database. So let's post. So it's telling us that this is the string. So try it out. I get slightly confused on here. So let's go car. That's a global audience called. We've got what sort of car? We'll just call it a Ford. Execute. And this is going to tell us. This is the actual post, so you don't have to recreate it. But you could do a curl command, post it to our fast API container, telling it car and Ford. So you learn it and requested URL. We'll stick it to the items, and code 200 is gone in successfully. So that's brilliant. So let's put a few more. Fast car. Fast car, we'll stick in as a Ferrari. 200, EV car, we'll put a Tesla. I'll go animal. Sheep. So we should have 4 entries in the database. It's all gone in. So if we go to the get, try it out, success, animal sheep. Hold on, something's gone wrong. Get items, read items, execute, successful response. And here's the contents of the database. So we've got a car that's Ford. That looks like the data we put in. That looks like a tremendous demo. The power of LLMs lets you build something. So if we now go and look at the logs for the fast API, we can see the traffic. So this is going to be good for AI in the future because we've now used APIs to send traffic from a web page to a database, and that's it. So thank you very much. This is vibe coding. Rather than having to learn everything, we can just use the templates we've got and then use the LLMs to ask questions. And obviously in a more thorough example, there'll be lots of iterations in asking the LLMs better and more accurate questions depending on your prompts. But thank you very much. I hope you found that very powerful, and thank you. And I'll stop.